The canine ear. Do you know how the ear functions? Can you describe the anatomy of the external ear? Can you identify the different ear shapes recognised by the Kennel Club? No? Well, let's find out. By the end of the lesson, you will be able to identify the anatomical parts of the ear. You will have basic understanding of how the ear functions. You will be able to identify the different Kennel Club ear shapes and the common health problems that are associated with them. You will also have a clear understanding of the role a groomer has with the health of a dog's ear. The ear is an organ that provides a sense of hearing and balance. A dog's sense of hearing is far greater than ours, allowing them to hear sounds 4 times further away than we can. They can hear higher frequencies than us, can more easily differentiate sounds than we can, and are able to pinpoint the location of sounds because they are able to move each ear independently to one another. Studies from the Department of Veterinary Medicine at the University of Bari Aldo Moro in southern Italy, titled Lateralized Behavior and Cardiac Activity in Dogs in Response to Human Emotional Vocalizations, have shown that dogs can distinguish the happy sounds of human laughter from the sad sounds of human crying through sound alone. Some ponder the question if dogs can hear human heartbeats, an ability that we know that horses have. The visible part of the ear is called the pinna, which is often referred to as the ear leather by dog groomers. It is the external part of the ear that acts as a funnel to catch sound waves and to channel the sound waves into the ear canal, much like in the human ear. The varying shapes of ears seen in breeds today can potentially affect the pinna's effectiveness in amplifying sound, and folded down ears can also block some sound. In dogs, the pinna also expresses emotion and acts as a communicator to other animals. The pinna is made of elastic cartilage called the auricular cartilage. The medical term for ear canal is external auditory meatus. The external auditory meatus in dogs comprises of a vertical canal and a horizontal canal, where the auricular cartilage links with annular cartilage. The external ear is covered in skin, so the ear canal will grow fine short hairs and contains ceruminous glands that produce cerumen, which is the medical term for earwax. Earwax protects the tissues and helps prevent infection by trapping microorganisms, dirt and other irritants. Earwax works with the hair inside the ear canal to move dirt and debris away from the eardrum to protect it from damage and infection. Accumulation of earwax can cause irritation and infections, so wax should be cleaned away occasionally to prevent a build-up. Some breeds will grow long hairs and thick hair in the ear canal, which can potentially impact the ear's ability to stay healthy. The ear canal ends with a delicate sheet of tissue called the tympanic membrane, which is the medical term for eardrum. It is a thin membrane that vibrates from incoming sound waves and separates the external ear and the middle ear. Within the middle ear is the tympanic cavity, which is an air-filled compartment that contains 3 small bones called auditory ossicles. The vibrations from the eardrum are transmitted to the inner ear by the auditory ossicles. The middle ear is connected to the inner ear, which is made up of 3 parts: the cochlea, the semicircular canals, and the vestibule. The cochlea is a spiral-shaped cavity filled with fluid that contains sensory receptor cells that aid auditory transduction, which is the conversion of sound waves into electrical nerve impulses. The 3 semicircular canals are fluid-filled canals which aid balance and are part of the vestibular system. The vestibule, which is not pictured, is the central part of the vestibular system, a complex system that perceives movement and acceleration to maintain balance. The wolf, ancestor of the domestic dog, has pricked ears, which are ears that are pointed and stand erect. Pointed erect ears enhances their ability to hear and locate sounds in the wild, which enables them to hunt their prey. Pointed ears can also be more effective at communicating with other wolves. It is widely believed that it was the weaker members of the now extinct wolf species that came into contact with the hunter-gatherers around 20,000 years ago, because they would have had smaller adrenal glands, which meant they were less likely to go into fight or flight mode than the stronger ones. This lower level of adrenaline allowed the hunter-gatherers to domesticate them with the offerings of meat. Throughout the domestication of wolves, changes to the stem cells began, from which all other cells are formed, which led to the domesticated canine species. Selective breeding in more recent history has led to the dog breeds we know today. Domesticated dogs have been selectively bred over hundreds of years, and recognised breeds today have varying ear shapes. The UK Kennel Club glossary of terms details all the different ear shapes. The bat ear, an erect ear, rather broad at the base, rounded in outline at the top, and with opening directly to the front. This ear shape improves their sense of hearing and came from the selective breeding of bulldogs, which were originally used to herd hogs and cattle and for bull baiting. The button ear, the ear flap folding forward, the tip lying close to the skull so as to cover the opening and pointing towards the eye. These ears are very mobile, which assists in their hunting abilities. The candle flame ear, erect, broad at the base, narrowing to slightly pointed tips, giving a candle flame appearance. This ear shape is unique to the English Toy Terrier. The drop ear, pendant, pendulous. Long drop ears are seen in many breeds that track and hunt by following scent. These long ears, seen on many gun dogs and scent hounds, help the dog to track prey animals by sweeping scents up into their nose. Spaniels have excess hair to help protect the ear from foreign objects entering the ear as they rush through brambles and undergrowth. This excess hair also prevents airflow into the ear canal, creating a warm, moist environment. The Bedlington Terrier is known for its filbert ear, rounded off triangular shape as in a filbert nut. The tassels are said to confuse vermin when the Bedlington is hunting. The flying nun ear, ears held incorrectly, either too high and or away from the skull. Flying nun ears are generally considered a fault, but it bears no problem for the dog and is only an aesthetic problem. The hooded ear, a pricked ear which curves forward at the tip and on the sides, thus forming a hood. The hooded ear aids hunting abilities and provides an alert expression. The rose ear, a small drop ear which folds over and back, thus revealing the upper part of the external ear canal. This ear shape is bred into lots of different breeds for different reasons, but the reasons generally stem from the need for the ears to be held out of the way. Semi-drop ear, semi-pricked with the top third falling forward. A semi-drop ear is generally bred into dogs for appearance. Selective breeding has resulted in some breeds becoming prone to ear problems. One common problem is the overgrowth of long hairs within the ear canal, which can trap normal earwax and inflammatory debris, preventing the normal earwax from migrating to the outer part of the ear as part of the self-cleaning process. This can result in otitis externa, which is the medical term for an ear infection. Otitis externa will present in redness, inflammation, discharge, scratching and self-trauma. Other causes of otitis externa include ear mites, allergies and microorganisms such as bacteria or fungi. All cases of otitis would need diagnosis from a vet to determine the cause and appropriate treatment. Wool breeds can be susceptible to excess hair in the ear canal. Drop ears with heavy hair are susceptible to otitis due to the lack of airflow into the ear, creating a warm, moist environment. The picture on the left is a cockapoo's ear with excess hair growing inside the ear canal, which has resulted in excess wax production and inflammation. The picture on the right is of a cocker who is halfway through treatment of an ear infection and still having prescribed ear drops. If otitis externa becomes chronic, it can lead to otitis media, which is inflammation of the middle ear structures. An oral hematoma is a pocket of blood within the pinna that is caused by burst blood vessels. It's often caused by trauma, but a vet should be consulted with to determine the exact cause. A groomer can inadvertently cause a hematoma if they clip off a severely matted ear because of the sudden rush of blood to the pinna. Severely matted ears should be clipped off slowly in sections to prevent this. Symptoms of a hematoma include a swollen ear flap that develops suddenly, redness, heat and pain, head shaking, scratching and a head tilt. Some small hematomas may heal on their own, but some may require veterinary treatment and pain relief. Cauliflower ear is an acquired deformity of the outer ear caused by permanent damage to the auricular cartilage, usually from repeated trauma. It's called cauliflower ear because of the appearance of the ear. Many groomers debate whether or not a groomer should pluck ear hairs. The presence of hair aids the ear's natural ability to clean the ear, but if there is excess ear hair, it can impede this natural process and prevent excretion of debris and microorganisms, thus causing inflammation and infection. Plucking using harsh yanks, using aids such as forceps, or plucking too much hair can also cause inflammation or rupture of the ear canal, A groomer must assess each dog individually and communicate with the owner to decide whether or not the dog will benefit from gentle pulling of some outer ear hairs. If the dog is prone to ear infections, the owner may wish for you to take this step as preventative care. If the dog isn't predisposed to ear infections, then they may wish for the hairs to be left alone. The owner can consult their vet for guidance on their individual dog. As a general rule, never insert anything into the ear canal for the purpose of plucking ears. Like humans, dogs have reflex reactions. A startle reflex is when a dog quickly bites in reaction to something that took them by surprise, and is a reflex reaction from their ancestry from wolves as a survival instinct. Many breeds have been bred to be less reactive than others, but all dogs have this innate reflex reaction. It can be triggered during sleep or when a dog is poorly, or really any time a dog is startled. As a dog groomer, it's important to note that blasters can trigger this startle reflex, which may also be referred to as a bite reflex. It can happen when the blaster blows on the back of the ears or head. Bite inhibition training is when a puppy is taught not to bite down hard and should be part of socialization or puppy training. A dog groomer should desensitize puppies to the dryer positively during their puppy grooms to prevent the reflex reaction happening when they're an adult. We hope that you now know how the ear functions and that you can describe the anatomy of the external ear. And we hope that you can identify some of the ear shapes recognised by the Kennel Club. But please go on to the next step and complete the multiple choice quiz to test your knowledge.